security consultant Richard Kumadoe and so ebedin komo. All right, Richard Kumadoe, what's menka? Yama watching. Okay, Sabre, you can say you are live on Max 89.7 in the Greater Accra region and maximum 104.3 in Takrade and also on Max TV. Okay.
Thank you, Mina.
Thank you. So far, it's been about 24 hours. 48, I beg your pardon, since Ghana to Waba. What are your impressions of Udi so far?
No, I think you started properly, but before election, now some of us were raising some issues about some of the control measures electoral commission did by, Then coupled with the fact is that the two political parties have used a lot of money to purchase election-related security infrastructure, almost setting up IT infrastructure. They train people and deploy them to the field. Next year, say within 1 hour, 1.5 hours of elections, two parties need to make quality results. No, the accessibility rate. Whilst electoral commission to me and as a result, parties no call say yanyanse. Now, when you follow election in Ghana for some time, parliamentary elections there, when we declare the police station, everybody know who has won, who has lost.
Yeah.
As a result of that, a creative nervousness and euphoria. So euphoria then I'm a for and I'm for rush to the coalition center saying this is what happened and the results were changed in 2020, so we cannot trust the people to change it. But now it is not so. It's as a result of control measure now electoral commission it slowed down their process for like 3 to 5 hours.
Yeah.
No, a election issue and a security issue. And in some places, police were there. Some other places, they went to sleep. And what happened? So at the end of the day, we failed, we succeed. And I think after today, when the declaration is made, let's go back to the drawing board and see where we have done well. Let's enhance it. Where we have not done well, let's encourage ourselves and use common sense approach in dealing with it.
You mentioned the police. What you being a security consultant, how would you rate their performance so far?
Now, actually, let's say 7 over 10.
Why?
In some places, they failed abysmally. In some other places, they did very, very, very well. Some of the constituencies we went, not before election, you can say, from 1992, I election was Krumha. Your coalition centers in the structure in yet, security-wise, and yet nobody was listening. And the security officers find it difficult at some of the coalition centers to even maintain safety and security of lives and property. And if you have people coming at them at that speed with these dilapidated structures that are not convenient for everybody, you can expect that. And I can tell you for a fact that before the election on Saturday, as a Thursday or Wednesday, Electoral Commission has not collated all the coalition centers across the country they are going to use because so those are the kind of difficulties they face. And I'm not surprised that it added the additional 5 hours into many of the things we have seen that is creating problems.
What's the policy for? Most of the issues was the dilapidated nature of baby and easy.
No, and the arrangement arrangement of the place and the delay in the electoral commission's activity to collate the results at the constituency level because only the control measure be by and created that delay. And see, the police officers were overwhelmed. Some went to sleep, some were awake. Some places did not have the mob, and some places have. And those shootings and things, the root causes is that there has been a delay and there has been inconsistency from the election managers of this country.
Okay, there are still pockets of violence and chaos in some places. In Tolong, Yekuobi, somewhere in the north, EC office, we know that in Kaswa, Wutu, Senya East, how do we curb those small pockets of violence?
What I know Ghanaians are going to do is to go and scatter it. After that, they'll go home and sleep. In another year, there'll be a lot of people who are dying. So what you have done in this country shows that you guys can't think properly. Common sense doesn't work. You don't review anything. You don't apply common sense. You have no accountability regime and no responsibility. In the last 4 years election, it was Techema South that people were shot dead. Yeah. In this election, Tema Central, there was problem. Kaswa, there was problem. Kwashima, there was a problem. Domi Kwabenya, there was problem. When you go to the north, there was problem. So now your problems are increasing. So if you don't sit down to address it, it's going to increase for many years.
So how do we do that? I mean, we talk a lot as Ghanaians. We all have something to say, but it's like we have few solutions to problems. What's the common sense and all of that? Last 4 years, 8 people died. We didn't do anything.
Number one, electoral commission must call police. Number two, they must call the media. Number three, they must call the political parties, and not what they do at the APAC meeting. There has to be a proper decision taken as a review of what has happened in this election.
When you spoke about accountability, 4 years ago, something happened, we didn't do anything. Whose job is it to ensure that those people who died and their families receive a certain result? The investigation way saying the people involved have been arrested. Whose job is it to do that?
It is the police. Unfortunately, the police have become the lackadaisical attitude in this matter because some of them will be affected. It is the military, and if you look at the poster of the military, they will be affected. So they didn't do it. The electoral commissioner's decision, what has been her results, and what has been the election results out of 2020, and the inconsistencies have they been reviewed. And when they were writing the report, did they include that as a reason of a results of election, some people were dead? Nobody did that. The president is the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces. He did not even utter a word. Some MPs were saying that those boys who were shot dead were criminals. Today, they have more criminals on their hands, and a lot more people have been shot dead, and a lot more people have been wounded, and a lot more national assets have been destroyed. These are the people we have in this country, and this is the way they want to govern, and this is the way we want to live. Today, it might be Tema Central, but tomorrow it will be a place where your family people are, and they may not be fortunate enough to escape the barrier of the gun.
You mentioned the military. There was this disturbing video where a couple of civilians were engaged in some sort of banter with the military peoples. They were able to subdue them, and I sat there watching. I was asking myself, does that demystify the army? Because those days you dare not approach an army officer. I don't know whether you've seen that video. And
yeah, I've seen it. I disapprove the behavior of the young man, the civilian.
Yes.
I know he's going to be in trouble for 25 years. I know the whole world. I've seen him. It's going to affect his travel across the world. It will affect his family, his friends, and loved ones. That behavior is a bad one. No matter the provocation, do not touch a law enforcement officer.
Good.
No matter the provocation, do not go face-to-face beating up a law enforcement officer. I don't know the circumstances, but what I saw on the video, I think he went a little bit too far, and that has ramifications because bad behavior will attract punishment, and I think he will not be let go of this particular one. Even if the state decide not to go after him, the ramifications and the consequences of that behavior will travel very far.
All right, so, before the elections, we were told that uniformed men are a polling stations were police, that the military would only patrol our borders and a few flash points, almost main polling station. And if we look at the altercation, the man was trying to prevent the military officers from approaching the polling station. So would you say that the military...
No, you do not have that right. What the right you have is to raise alarm.
Okay.
The right you have is to inform the police. The police are the first respondents. Election is a national issue. Law and order will have to be maintained, and control will have to be maintained, and crime will have to be fought and won. So even if you think the military is breaching the rule, you can report to the police, one, and you can surround the box if you think they are coming to snatch the box, and you can take your grounds by standing firmly. But to go have that authentication and to slap a police officer and try to beat them up, it has ramifications. So it's not something we should even discuss on air. It's bad, it's ugly, it's awful, and people need to run away from that behavior.
Okay, Mr. Richard Kumadoe, in your capacity as a security consultant, security-wise, what lessons do you think Ghanaians must draw from the 2024 elections?
Now, I'm the founder of independent election security compliance watchers. So when I founded the Independent Election Security and Compliance Watchers in 2008, I have traveled to all over the world and I have monitored elections. There are so many things we are not doing right with this democracy. There are so many things that have gone wrong with our security of election management. And I think after this election, we will need to look at it. Above all, there are some successes and there are some ugly stories to be told.
But what areas specifically would you and your outfit be tabling in front of the EC or the army or the police?
I've spoken extensively about it. They don't want to do anything. If you look at one of the control measures they bring, while the parties have the results at the police stations, when Papa Farijan said elections are won at the police stations, what it meant is that parties can pick the results from the police stations. The Electoral Commission had the control to pacify the gods and to cleanse themselves from the 2020 election sins they have committed, and that resulted in bottlenecks and failure. Ubakaya, almost see, Omuba Coalition Center, where they have somebody who will do the SF coalition before the manual coalition. And what happened is that some of the EC coalition centers have enough officers, so they were able to do the two at the same time.
Yeah.
Some do not have. So what they did was to receive the ballot boxes and the pink sheet, and I asked the officers to go home. Now, the online or the SF officer will have to do all the data entry before manually they will come and do the coalition. And that hold the system up for like 3 to 5 hours. But that 3 to 5 hours, people know the results and they are nervous and their anxiety has set in and they are angry that the EC is not announcing the results. Knowing very well that even though it's within the 72 hours, this is a control measure the EC brought. The EC again said that they will not take the constituency coalition results, but they will come to the regional coalition results. In the wisdom of Papa Farijan and Co, they were taking the constituency results, which was quicker. But Madam Jane, Auntie Jane said is going to regional, which means that they are also going to spend an additional 3 to 4 hours delay. And that is what created the problem. They must look at it again because they do not have the infrastructure to sort it out. And the difficulties they had, I think it is a good lesson for them to look at it again.
Do you agree with the cross-section of Ghanaians who are saying that the EC should come out and announce, especially in the face of Dr. Bawumia conceding?
No, what Dr. Bawumia did is to help his image, is to help his party, is to ensure that his integrity is intact.
Yeah.
Bawumia did not do anybody a favor. Bawumia did not do that as a result of a sacrifice. He has seen the results. I just told you the parties have the results within 1 hour. He has seen the results. He realized he has lost, and there's nothing he can do about it because the loss is so glaring, and everybody can see. The international community are all watching, they are talking, and they are having conversations among themselves and the parties. So it is a good thing to do to enhance the governance and the democracy we have. And now, the EC has 72 hours, and today is the 72 hours. Let's wait for the EC and see what they will do. But they have difficulties, they have challenges, and I'll be happy if they speed it up for the results to be announced.
All right. It's incumbent on all of us as Ghanaians to ensure that the aftermath of the 2024 election remains peaceful. You've spoken about the EC, what they've done right and what they've done wrong. You've looked at the army as well, the police personnel, the EC officials on the ground. But then I bet you have something to tell Ghanaians as well, because we're all in this together.
Celebrate. People should not go and be seizing toilets and many things to pacify themselves and to retaliate with what people have done to them in the past. And you know, we are black people, nobody forgives anybody. So people want to go after 30 people and seize cars and seize offices and sack 30 people out of their offices. I'm pleading to everybody to be cautious. We are one people, we are one family, we are in-laws, we are brothers, we are sisters. And that is why we go to boarding house to meet with some other people. Let's live properly among ourselves. Let peace prevail. Let's celebrate and let's invite those who have lost to come for a bottle of beer or for a bottle of Guinness, and let's have those live soup parties and the fufu, and let's life continue.
You mentioned something that brought something quickly to mind. People are looting, and you know this public places of convenience. You know, sometimes some party people are put there to man those places. We understand that some people have been sacked from there. People are looting electrical appliances that are meant for certain people. You have anything to say about that, Mr. Kumadoe?
Yeah, and I understand people are planning to go and sack people from offices and seize their cars publicly to humiliate them. And it's because of what the MPP did to them. But I think in all this, let common sense prevail, let cool heads prevail, let reason prevail, let's live as one family, and let's continue.
Okay, so you spoke.
Thank you. God bless you guys.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Richard Kumadoe is a security consultant.